Okay, to receive apologies, so the only apology I have is from Nick, who is working tonight. Okay, so to approve the minutes of the last meeting, has everyone had a chance to review any comments?
No. One of the things carried forward, I'm not sure whether I'm right. Anyway, to note the feedback of a meeting with the Pickmere community group from yesterday. It says, carried forward. Do we get that?
No.
So, nothing I understand. But the agenda item was the last minute.
It looked like you were going to report on the meeting with the community group from yesterday.
And, okay.
We've not got to that.
We're on the minutes of the last meeting?
Oh, it's in the minutes?
No, we're on the minutes.
This one?
No, the last one.
We're just approving the minutes of the last meeting. Are you okay with the minutes from the last meeting?
Well, I just said to note that. It gave me the impression that it was going to be discussed.
That's the agenda.
That's on the agenda, not the minutes of last meeting.
Oh, I apologise.
So we're still on 2.1. Is anyone any comments on the last minute?
Yes, for those things.
Don't mind me, I'm 80.
Who said that? Right.
I'm not going to say the
No.
9.4. The action was to get a quote for the removal and making good. That no further quotes have been obtained because no decision was made at the last meeting on whether or not we were going to replace or not. Because there are so many permutations and variations.
I thought we were going to get a quote to
Remove and make good.
I thought to make good. That's what I thought you were getting a quote.
So we all...
I have.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
I'm just saying, but it's that the 9.4 says get quotes for the replacement as well.
Oh.
So we already had those in the last meeting.
Yeah.
There's similar as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And 9.11. Neighbourhood plan.
Sorry, mate.
It says the terms of reference to be deferred to November. It's not on the agenda. Can we refer it to December?
We can do it at the end of November, but the terms of reference aren't completed, are they?
No.
So what we can
Can I
do
talk
is...
to you about that?
Of course, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Those were just the 2 points that I...
Okay.
So for that, as soon as you've got your terms of reference
Yeah.
in the form, then you submit it to the clerk and go on to the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Welcome, Simon.
Sorry I'm late, I came straight from the fixture.
Okay. So, no matters arising from the meeting that I'm aware of. Just an update on the action list, so making good progress. So since we started as a council, we've had 92 actionable items, of which 30 are now awaiting closure. So that's 66% of everything we said we'd do, we've done. So, as last month, I know it's a bit late, we're sitting around today. If you get a chance to look at your action items, because I'm not 100% sure that some of them haven't been closed. But
I ticked off them.
okay, so just email me that and afterwards and I'll try and get it out earlier. But I appreciate I said that last time. Declaration of interests, either financial or otherwise, on any agenda items. No? Okay. Public forum. Anyone in the public gallery? No?
No.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So we have a quick report from the police. So as you will all guess, John's report says that there's been a complete downturn in their activity in the village, mainly because of the weather. We still don't have a PCSO. They had 6 call-outs in October. One was for an alleged breach of bail conditions. One was for a vehicle causing an obstruction, but unfortunately they were unable to attend. One was at the request of another agency for joint information sharing, and one was in regard to a mental health issue. There was also a report of harassment in the village. Officers did attend, but no charges were pressed by the person who alleged to have been harassed. And there was one report of drink driving, and that is under investigation. As always, if you have a non-urgent issue you want to report, then you should dial 101, and if it's an issue that relates to personal injury or damage to property, then 999. So that ends the police review. I think there was one thing I think we've all seen in the local press, which was someone who challenged their parking fine at Pickmere, and the police offered no evidence. So I think it would be worth...
They were up in court, weren't they, in December, and they challenged them. That's what happened. They actually got a ticket, and then the people challenged the police, and then the police withdrew.
Yeah. So I think it would be worth...
the police withdrew, yeah, so it didn't go to court in December.
No, it was...
So I think it would be worth
and that was,
maybe
I think,
asking
on
for
the
an
orchards,
explanation.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is poor, really.
Okay. But I think it's worth asking John for maybe an explanation, and maybe writing to the Police and Crime Commissioner, because he at the meeting told us that this was his number one priority.
Do you have any feedback about the letter written to the police regarding the PARISH?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Nothing.
Okay. So I don't have a report from K Parkinson. Last time I said that she was in the room, but she's not in the room tonight.
No, I don't. But
Someone
I think
said-
she's on holiday. Or
Okay.
on honeymoon.
On her honeymoon. Well, congratulations, Kate. So we'll pass over that one. Okay, financial position. Reviewed the documentation we have.
Okay, so the first one is just your current financial position, which are the payments that have gone through. I didn't do the monthly summary as a separate summary because you had it in the forecast anyway. The black figures were actuals, the red figures were my guesses for the rest of the year. Should probably use the word better than guesses, shouldn't I? My calculations for the rest of the year.
Accruals.
Yes. So that's just a note. So if anyone's got any questions, please ask me, but otherwise we'll just note it.
No, just to say thank you for that, for seeing it all so clearly.
There are no new payments to authorise, there's nothing gone through that you haven't already agreed to in council. And then the forecast, and hopefully the notes that went with it are just for you to take into consideration, so you can, if anyone's unhappy with the forecast or feels that I've missed anything out, it's my first year doing it, so I'm a bit conscious of the fact I've only been imposed a couple of months. But if you feel like there's anything missing, please let me know. If everyone's happy with the forecast, then we'll start building the budget for next year based on the forecasted figures for this year. So I will be sending out quite a lot of information in the next couple of weeks. We've only really got 2 weeks to get it put together. So anything you think of, please let me know.
On the forecast and budget building, do you anticipate that you'll need to call upon the
I think so.
Finance Committee?
I think you probably will need to. I was hoping to have the budget done for the next meeting, but if there's anything that then you don't agree with or doesn't go through, you're going to have to delegate
Okay.
powers to the Finance Committee and meet, because it's got to be in by the 12th of January.
Okay. So do we need to formally
You
say
need-
that we're having a meeting on the Finance Committee? Or...
You only need 3 days' notice.
Okay.
You've got your committee drawn up, so you just need 3 days' notice.
Right. Sounds like fun.
That's it for finance, really.
Okay. Right, Penny. So,
Walwell Farm, that's just a discharge of conditions, and it's just about bird boxes and providing all the information on bird boxes, so seems fine, that one. The next one, 102 Pickmere Lane. This one's very sort of strange because it's not really 102 Pickmere Lane, it's the field at the back, which is a separate holding, I believe. If all the information that they've given, it's referenced as field 5205 Pickmere Lane.
I think it was sold with the house though, wasn't it? It was sold
So
with
it's
the house.
separate, wasn't it?
No. If you actually look, it was up at
We
four.
need to check the
It was up at
deeds then,
400.
really.
It was up at 400. I actually know because I actually went to buy it.
It would
I
have
was
been a
not
separate.
It wasn't
deed.
Peter. It might have been a separate deed,
Yes,
but it was a
separate
one
deed.
sale.
Oh, yeah, one
Yeah,
sale,
it was
the
one sale.
separate deeds.
Deeds different.
It might have been
Because
a
when you
separate
look
deed.
back through the history of it, I mean, American George, who used to live the other side of the road,
He
used to
owned
own it. Own it.
Mr. Mannerin, Mainwaring.
Don't
And
think
then,
his
and
name was that.
it was.
We just called him American George.
It was manual.
Manual.
It was
Evan
manual, and then
Manual
it was
something.
manual. Then Dave Tilley,
Okay, is this,
Tilly.
is this pertinent to the
then
planning?
Anthony Molyneux, who built those
Okay.
things.
Good planning.
Um,
I mean, it's £3 to get a...
right, so it's really further development by stealth, because the stables can't find any planning application for stables on that land, that it was for the keeping of horses, not for stabling of horses, or any change of use in that possible planning application from stables or anything else to a gym, leisure complex or whatever it is now. There is nothing along those lines at all. So this is to knock a small shed down and build another row of stables, and to build an arena. And they talk about the horse welfare thing, saying there's not enough land there anyway for the number of horses they want to put on it. And they've also been told that the ground is wet. So arenas don't work unless you have good drainage. And where's all the water going from the existing building and the new buildings potentially that they would like to build? The other problem is there's a limited visibility splay at the road junction. The access road is shared with Cheshire East, who own the garages down there on the right hand side on the entrance to the land.
So that's just down here, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the other, this row of houses here, it's the far end. There's a substation at the end, isn't there? And there's a track goes down the side, and the garages are on the right hand side down that track that were owned, are owned by Cheshire East.
Those buildings that you're talking about, though, they were actually built over 10 years ago. They've probably got some of
They've
that.
been there.
My friend actually built them, so I actually know that. They were built about 15 years ago, something like that. So they've probably got outline plan permission on them.
We can't find any. The relevant, out of all the referencing that they've given for change of who can keep horses there, the name's changed and they've applied and applied, but there is no
Manuel
planning.
always had horses though there, didn't he? And
Yeah.
Dave Tilley always had horses there.
Yeah, but there was no planning application for stables.
But there's always been stables as far as I've known down
But
there.
again, in the application, it also says is the land contaminated, and potentially it is because it used to be filter beds there.
Used to be what?
Filter beds. So
There's been horses on that land though, Peter, for the last 50 years.
perhaps there's been horses on it, but
I think there's been stables there as well. There has.
there's
There
no
were
plan.
stables when I went to buy it,
Yeah.
which is a long time ago.
So if you get planning permission for it, we should be looking at conditions of being for private use only, no lighting of the arena unless further planning permissions obtained,
Drainage.
and drainage. That's it, the drainage is the problem, obviously. And they're only going to add to it with adding an arena and more buildings.
I mean, generally when you put a menage up, there's always lighting, isn't there? Because everybody I know has got.
No,
Oh, I know. Everybody I know who's
Yeah,
ever
no.
built menages have always put.
I've been in them
lighting.
where no lighting allowed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think all my friends have probably got them built on their own land, so they've managed to get it.
So just to be clear, So what's the recommendation for?
Suppose we object to it.
Okay, so object completely on the ground, or comment that it should be for private use only and that the arena should not be lit.
I think we should object to it
On what
Also-
grounds?
on the grounds that there are already stables there that have been converted. They want new stables. What's to say the next owner?
They've been
won't-
converted to a house though, haven't they? It's like a house, it's like an
I don't know, I've never
Airbnb.
been
And
there.
if you went online,
Yeah.
you'd see it, it's like an Airbnb inside, it's been
Right.
converted
So what's
completely
to stop the next
into
owner
property.
changing the next set of stables into somebody else, and then the next owner applying for more stables?
Well, that's what happened with Frog Lane.
Well, have they had planning permission to
Frog Lane,
convert
they
the
started off
stables?
with stables
No.
and then they just gradually,
There was no change of use.
they were built.
Yeah, so
But there's been a building there for
maybe so.
a long time,
Mm.
so,
Yeah, but it's now a house.
well, I wouldn't actually call it a house.
You just
Well, I said it's like a house inside, it's still like stables from the outside.
So is the
That's what's
assumption,
inside.
is it an assumption that they're going to
I know
make it
because I
into a
went round
business?
it, I've been in it and had a good look round.
Is that what we assume?
well, no, they say not. It's
It's
for
quite
their own
close.
personal use.
It's not big enough for it to be anything other than for their own personal use, that field. Is it? It's not
No.
really, Alison, is it?
No.
I mean, you've
Not in
got
my
horses.
opinion.
No,
No.
it isn't. And not according to the...
Not unless they're not going to have their own horse there and they're going to rent it out, which then it becomes a commercial business.
Well, that's what you wouldn't want, but
Yeah.
I would imagine that if it's somebody who's bought it to put a couple of horses on there themselves, I don't think they're doing, personally, I don't think they're doing anything wrong.
There's a difference of putting horses on and building stables, isn't there?
Yeah, but
a
there's
huge
buildings there
difference.
that they're going to convert to stables.
They're not.
They're not, they want more stables.
Oh, they want more.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Oh, no.
I thought you were saying knocking it down and...
No, there's another ship. The part that's been converted into a whatever, which were the stables, and then there's another small shed. You want to knock that small shed down and put a new range of stables in.
All right, well, that's different again.
And
I was
an
thinking
arena,
that-
which further reduces the amount of land available to graze horses on. And also adds to the burden on the land of more water being pumped onto.
I mean, they bought that
Well,
with in the view that they're going to be able to put a couple of horses on there, and that's just my opinion.
Well, they still can.
Yeah, they can.
Without an arena.
And without the stables.
I mean, a menage is a completely different thing altogether, isn't it, sticking one of them on?
Yeah.
Okay, so what grounds are you objecting on?
Yeah.
Drainage,
But there's one.
Okay,
I don't think.
overdevelopment of the site.
fair enough, okay.
The road,
Overdevelopment
you could-
aside,
You could say the road junction as well, if you
Yeah.
Yeah.
road junction, what, not suitable for horse boxes or?
Yeah, visibility space, not, yeah.
Okay, anything else?
about the stable. Do we mention that?
Well, given that the fact that they're already stables, it's why don't we? Yeah.
Mm.
Do they need any more stables if there's already stables there?
And it's an agricultural field. I'm sorry, that's 3 points, that's okay. So overdevelopment aside, junction not suitable for horse boxes, visibility display not fit for purpose, and it's an agricultural field.
And the drainage, did you say?
And the menage would, is that hard standing?
It's where you
No.
gallop the horse around so they make it.
It's not hard, but it'll be raised up, but you need drainage to make it work.
Okay,
You can put field drains in though, can't you? I mean, it's not impossible to put a menage in without putting your own field drains in.
Mm.
They've got to go somewhere though, haven't they?
Yeah.
Where are they going?
It could go out the back.
Onto the filter beds.
Onto somebody else's land.
okay, so the land's what, The land's, is it prone to flooding? Is it?
Yes.
Has it got high water table?
Seems like it, from,
Everywhere else at the moment, though,
Yeah.
let's face it.
Yeah.
You know, you go onto every single field around the country and it's flooded, so I don't think you can just say that that's flooded.
It is part of the floodplain, if you look on the route of land that is likely to flood, there's that and Frog Lane as well.
Okay.
Right, I think we've done that one today.
right, okay.
Okay.
Next one, 233891M, existing barn off Spinks Lane. It's actually called Spink Lane, isn't it?
Speak,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that'd be me.
Oh, no, that's probably what's actually
No,
written on the
oh,
application.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
But you look at all the maps and everything else, and it's actually called Spink Lane.
Right, okay. I will check
That one is, it's an existing bar that was, they had planning permission for the barn and polytunnels in 2008, and these were only built in 2009-10. And from what they say, the barn is still in use. So it's not even a redundant barn that they want to convert to a house, and the applicant lives 5 minutes away in Wiltshire anyway.
Oh, I know what you mean.
So is this a barn on agriculture?
It's
or
not.
It's,
Is it on agriculture or not?
it's in Greenbelt, yes.
Yeah, it's in between the road and the caravans. And
Yeah. And that
this is looking like...
there is no significant reason for a house in Greenbelt land. They're not showing or demonstrating that there is a significant reason. It's not a redundant building, still in use. They said they can stop using the barn, use it as a house, and convert one of the polytunnels to do one of the other things, but the planning permission was strictly for a, I believe it was a growth.
No. So,
So it
we're
didn't
objecting
have,
with Greenbelt land,
yeah,
agricultural,
there is no,
no redundancy.
there is no reason. There was a, in the planning application, we said, again, at the end of the road, visibility is great, at the end of Spink Lane, which is again very limited as to why one of the conditions on the planning application was that it was supply only, there was no, not open to the public or anything else. Plus they've also put horses on the land, which is again one of the reasons they say they need.
They've got one of them little plots,
I
haven't
don't know, I've not been down
Yeah, they
there
have.
since
They own one of the little plots.
a long time. But yes, as part of it, what they're saying as part of it, they put horses on it, and then their justification is they need to be there to tell them. Well, yeah,
think this is
the
right.
planning application was not for.
The head was taken down as well, wasn't it?
yeah, and a gate put in,
Yeah,
That's right.
which
This is
we
the same
did
people.
complain, which we did
Yeah.
complain about.
so there's lots of reasons why, and all the other problems of planning applications in Spink Lane, and I think the planning officer should be made aware by the chief planning officer, Peter Woodley, of the implications of this particular application in regard to the whole,
The whole other end of the street.
yeah, well, the whole site of, and as to what has been applied for in the past.
It's almost as though they're using the caravans as an excuse to start putting infill buildings.
Yeah,
And then if that happens, then we've sort of working our way down to
well,
Balham Farm, aren't we?
Okay. But presumably
Well,
our
there's all
friends
the
at
other
Cheshire East
pieces of
are well
land.
versed in planning law.
Yeah, but there's all the other pieces of land that are there, that are owned by various people around, that there's been planning applications refused on
There's
lots
one
of
in
them.
Winsham, isn't there, to pick these people, and then there's another one that lived on Station Road in Northwich, and I think they were the ones that were doing something with the land. or
Okay.
trying to-
But again, there's
Okay.
lots of
Discussion
plots
on that.
down there, there's small plots that have been
Okay.
sold off as investment
But
plots.
Okay.
we're only dealing with the planning application
Yeah.
that's in front of us.
Okay.
We've got enough for,
Yeah.
to draft? Okay, that's been So 8.2 is notice of licensing applications. So dubbed out, which was I think discussed at nauseam by the last council.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back again. I have to say,
I think it was a good event, and,
Yeah.
and I do know this. I know everybody who lived right by the Cheshire Showground was every single person was given tickets free of charge to go to that event, which is giving a little. They actually went round and handed tickets out to everybody, and not just themselves. Like I know Manon went, and they took a big party of people.
but I don't think it's relevant to that.
The event didn't seem to be a problem.
No, it
Yeah.
didn't.
No.
There was no
The event caused no problem.
Okay. So I think in light of that they did demonstrate last year that they were competent, then probably the normal thing that they should just take in consideration any comments from local residents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Sorry, have there been news about the building off Frog Lane, up the drive, where the footpath is, going from Frog
Wasn't that
Lane?
withdrawn? Is that not?
Yeah,
But it's still,
They're still there.
yeah, it's up for sale, isn't it? Or is it
some,
sold
that's something,
yeah, without planning?
without planning permission. But in the sales particulars, it did say that it didn't have planning permission.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
I didn't realise it got sold.
So maybe we need to keep a copy of that for any future reference.
I think it was quite clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from planning. So reports from the team. So just feedback on the, we had a meeting with the community group yesterday in the Eon Rouge. So I think we made some good progress. I think generally the consensus was that the community group have for a number of years run a number of events that are popular within the village. And if they would like to continue to do that, then I'm sure that the parish council will be supportive of that. I don't think we feel as a council generally, from successes we had before, but correct me if I'm wrong, that we don't particularly feel that we have to run events in the village ourselves, but we do want to support village events. So I think there are a number of up and coming events that the community group do, which I think includes Santa Claus over there around the village. And there's allegedly, and there is obviously the following Christmas sing-along carols. The community group did ask if we would consider allowing them to use the village hall on the day in the emergency of torrential downpour. I haven't been in the village for 20 years. I don't think it's ever happened in 20 years.
Once.
And I've been out of the rain.
But that was more because it was blowing a gale and the
Well, it's already
Marching
in the
wind.
book for just in case.
Yeah.
It's in the diary, in the calendar, on the calendar, just in case.
Okay, so there's that. We've asked the community group to come up with a list of events and dates that they'd like to run next year, because everybody can be aware that we'll all try and muck in and help. And then the other good thing that was clarified was the equipment which the community group hold is held on behalf of the village, and therefore is for use of the villages. So again, if people want to ask for borrow, that shouldn't be an issue. It was good to hear. Do you have the actual dates that were discussed for the?
It was going to
No,
go
you
to
said-
January, there was a meeting.
No, the
Oh,
dates of the event.
which one? The Dark Christmas?
December, yeah. The
20th.
20th of December.
So are we okay to say that this can be the backup venue?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you've got anything else to add, Simon, as a
No,
member of
just-
both groups?
I'm going to bring the dates to next, or I'll send the dates through to next meeting, as we said.
Do you have any questions that we'll ask about? But yeah, I think it was a helpful meeting.
What the only thing I'd like to know is what's happening with you know, how it was set up previously with the community group, and the amount of money that the community group have got, which has been raised for, you know, by the community group, but by everybody in the village. How, you know, how is the money coming back into the village? Because you,
Well, I can give you some figures.
Am I right in thinking that there's about 18,000
I
in
think
the
there is about that.
funds?
But
Yes.
I can say that over the last, since the start of lockdown with no income, we've spent £14,000 on various things to do with village, promoting events, to do with things like the grass cutting. So over that time, that amount of money has come back into the village. And when there's something that is usable and viable for that, obviously we need to get there as a float kept to actually make sure that these events go ahead. But when there's something that is relevant that we can invest in, we will do.
I mean, can we have it moving forward that if there is profit?
I can't make any decision, I'm afraid, because that will have to go to, that will have to be a committee decision of the community group, so I wouldn't be able to answer any question, not trying to be awkward,
Yeah.
but I can't.
I'm just wondering how the village are going to benefit from
Well, the same way that
community
it's
group
benefited
having
in the past. I mean,
events.
it's the running of events, the fact that there's things like the defibrillator box, which is down on the Iris, which was paid for by the community group.
I thought that was donated.
That was donated by them, yeah. So and there's various other things that they've donated money towards to support the council and obviously the village. But as I said, in the last, when was lockdown? I've lost track. Was it 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
Since the start of lockdown, with no income, £14,000 has been spent specifically on
Well,
the.
there's still 18,000 in the bank. Or
Yeah, there is, yeah.
So there's still a considerable amount of money.
There is, and obviously that will be used for various things within the village. I can't say in any way, shape or form, because obviously it's not my decision to make.
But
At
it's
this
not
moment
a-
in
but
time.
it's-
So it's like a council
But it's
going
not
down.
set. But it's not set up as a charity.
No.
And it's not set up as. So it's in somebody's personal bank account.
No, so it's a separate community group bank account. All the money for the community group that was raised has gone there. And if you want to look at the account, did Chris bring the accounts last night? No, he didn't, but I'm sure if you want to look at the accounts, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how the village are getting something, you know, of this, there's still this large amount of
I
money.
think £14,000 over that since the beginning of lockdown.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever seen it because there's been no transparency.
Well,
It's
there
all
has.
about
We don't know, we don't know, that's news to
that.
me.
I mean, there's no transparency with it, and with anything, you know, with anything where there's lots of money involved, where people are going out of the way to actually give and support and do everything they can. I think that there needs to be transparency with it. That's what
There
I'm
is
trying to say.
transparency.
Well, no, because I've
I
never
mean-
seen anything. I've never ever seen anything.
So you've not seen Father Christmas going around the village?
No,
You've
I'm
not
talking
seen
about, I'm
sport-
talking about the nitty-gritty of the money. I've never seen
Okay, but I
any
think
The
transparency
accounts
with
are
it.
there. If you want to come and look at them, you're more than welcome.
So then-
I can go and
Okay,
speak
so
to Chris.
can you send them to the parish
No,
council? and
you
to-
can go and ask Chris as the treasurer to have a look at the accounts.
And we can look at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's community group money, so
I mean, just to discuss, so what we discussed yesterday is that if the community group wanted to hold an event like on the IROS, if it was something that was to raise money for something, then we could look at whether we charge for that. If it's just an event and they haven't got something in mind, then there's another agenda item later on about making a charge for people to run events that make money on using our assets. But I think the last night we weren't specifically asking about how do we turn this into money for this or that. And Chris did say that if we have things that we want to suggest that they fund, you're welcome to do
So,
that.
Simon, you're saying that I can actually go and have a look at the accounts with Chris, see what's in the bank, and actually look where this 14,000 is being spent? Okay.
Should this not be published anyway, for the village to see?
no.
Why not? But we do, the council does, so surely.
The council
It's
are a
got
different body though, Chris.
It doesn't matter what the different body is, it's nevertheless
It's
it's
council a different body.
Yes,
It's not, it's
I
not,
don't,
it's
I
not
don't know,
an
because I think
intermediary
Lorraine
body.
was called out over her last
Yes.
event where she had to actually be completely transparent because somebody actually commented and said that they wanted to see the nitty-gritty of the money. So she had to be completely transparent about it.
Yeah, well, as I said, you've asked me if you consider doing that,
Okay.
but you can.
well, we can publish it then. Fair enough.
Okay, so we'll just move on. Receive updates on the village hall and the pavilion from Lorraine and Alison. Who would like to go first?
I don't know, do you want to talk about your big success story, because it was fantastic?
Okay, can do. Yeah, the wall clean up was well supported. Most people came along, volunteered, all got stuck in. We've got a plan of work. And it was so nice to see as well that people were coming along. They brought their own gear, their own equipment, their own cleaners, everything. And they got stuck in, and I think overall the village hall looks a lot better for it. It certainly smells a lot better.
I thought it was when you aftershave.
I wouldn't say that everybody enjoyed it, but they all pulled their weight.
It
with
was
the best,
nice,
and I think
actually.
it was
Everybody had a
really-
nice
Yeah.
chat. They got on with it, and they had it wasn't an unpleasant
No, I think Graham was absolutely wonderful. He was outside, he
It
did
was,
all the
yeah.
guttering, he took all the metal work out, emptied all the gutters, and he was absolutely black.
It was good. It was,
yes,
and
it did.
It was a success
Everybody.
as a village coming and helping out. You know.
Yeah, and various
People
people
working.
apologised as well that they couldn't come. Two of the regulars apologised and said that they were unable to attend because it was a little bit of a birthday party weekend, so can't blame that. Can't blame them for that. But, they offered actually to pay a window cleaner to come and clean the windows on the outside of the building, because unfortunately we couldn't get to do the big window there on the outside, and we didn't do these along here. It was because we were having to put the ladders in a ploughed field, and it wasn't very safe or anything like that. So still the outsides need doing, but the windows look much better actually having the insides done.
Okay.
So
They just
just
look better.
Yeah,
It
it
looked really nice.
Are we able to write to those involved and thank
the
them?
volunteers,
I have their forms, so yes.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
that would be most
That was
appreciated.
the
Yes.
volunteer form.
The volunteer forms work well. I read to everybody when they came in, and we had all the paperwork and everything on display so that they could read it. They all looked at risk assessments. Yeah, no problem at all. They were more than happy to help,
Okay.
which I think is great from the village.
Excellent. Thank you for organising.
I don't know whether you want me to go on and talk about the current state of the village hall on the
Should, yeah.
right.
Or you've
Okay.
got stage.
Trial of state. I did prepare a report, but unfortunately it was too late sending it in, so if you don't mind, can I just read from it? It was during the visit of Anton Brewer, the Ridderpest man. He advised that his father, Mike Brewer, has had a lot of experience in running village halls and obtaining grants and other forms of funding in aid of repair and refurbishment. He subsequently gave me Mike's number. I got in touch with him. We've had a few emails back and to, and he's actually been out to the hall and had a look at the hall and assessed it, and he said yes, he would love to help us and guide us through the difficult procedure of getting grants. He's recently done Fellwall Village Hall and Grattan Hall Village Hall. He's got grants, substantial grants for those to refurb them completely, which have been very successful. The history and the background, we have the Pennington Choices report, which was commissioned by the previous parish council to assess the condition of the village hall. This highlighted several areas which required repair and or replacement. A copy of the report is available, and a further survey was commissioned in 2021 by Roberts Project Management with recommendations. The current state of the hall is that it is in need of some urgent repair works. We have recently had repairs done to the roof, which highlighted the fact that there is limited life expectancy left. And major work needs to be done to keep the building watertight within the next 5 years. items raised from both the reports indicate the problems with the DPC in the extension, which it is believed has caused the floor tiles to be lifted in the gents' loo. A more recent damp situation has come to light on the rear wall of the building, again near the gents' loo. And actually, if you have a look now, you can see in that corner the shading there because it is now quite wet. Investigating this has shown that the flashing on the roof extension has quite a few holes in it and has lifted away from the brickwork. Potentially rainwater could be going into the cavity of the extension and somehow bypassing the cavity tray, if there is one, and entering the floor tanking, which could cause the problem with the tiles. This has obviously been happening over some period of time as the metal corner on the doorway plaster is quite rusty. As an interim repair to offer some sort of protection, Peter has bought some flash bonding, and hopefully, we were hoping to try and get it up this weekend, but we need a bit of a dry spell so that the flashing could dry and then we can put it up. Because it really is, we went out there, had a look at it, Peter's got some pictures, he took photographs of it, of the condition of it. So the way forward I've then put, with regard to looking at grant application, Mike Brewer has offered to come and speak to the council, to all of us, and has put forward various ideas on how to go about this. I believe the project needs to be agreed as to how we proceed with any potential work, spending or alternative approach to our assets, stroke liabilities. I would propose a working group be set up and volunteers, residents included, if there's any residents that would like to be involved, in order to create a project plan detailing what work is needed, both short and long term, to be effective in gaining any possible grants available. This is one thing that Mike said. He said it's no good just going willy-nilly out and applying for a grant here and a grant here and a grant there. He said you can actually, what he would like to do, because the building is 1874, isn't it, 76, he said what we would stand a great chance of doing is getting the Heritage Lottery Fund. He said if we can put a convincing case together that yes, this is the history of the building, this is what it needs doing, this is what we're trying to do with it, and combining with Lorraine's efforts at getting more and more people into the hall and how successful that has been, we could put a good programme together, if we are all interested.
And
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
should be honest. So
Yeah.
the guy who's going to do this, are we paying him to do it?
No, this is all absolutely voluntary. He loves old buildings, he's retired, he used to be an accountant, and it's a hobby of his and an interest of his, and he really was very impressed. What had happened was his son Anton had come out and done the inspection, and Anton had been able to get into the roof space above here, and he took some photographs and he explained to his dad, and he told his dad all about it, and he's just said, I think it's a lovely building. He said, I think it's a great building. He said, I would like to see it restored too.
So who would be on the working group?
Peter, Lorraine and myself to start, I would think. If Lorraine
Does
was
that
to
fit
go.
under one of the other
Yeah.
working
I'm
groups?
happy to come on
I
it.
think
It's looking at the whole thing of the village hall, like what does need doing. It needs pointing. So many things. And I would like to
Needs some love, Alice.
sorry.
I would suggest talking.
Well, it needs some money as well injecting
Yes,
into it. It's
it
not
does.
only love, it needs money.
Yeah, it does, but
Yeah,
we've got to do it.
Sort of love it,
as a project plan. One of the things he said, one of his things that he's quite keen on is his outcomes. He said you need to create right up at the front what you want your outcomes to be. And I said, well, yeah, some of the things that we've said, the buildings and internal fixtures in a better condition, that people will have developed skills as well, people will have learned things, and a change in attitudes and behaviour, and people will have a far more enjoyable time in here. And one of the things would be to do a questionnaire of our current users. What did you like about the village hall? What would you like to see in the village hall? Then we can put a whole plan together of what we need, what we want, and where we can go and get help. But Mike has said that he will come and guide us and help us through it if we want him to. But he would come and talk to us as a council.
So did he talk about the damp at all? Have we got
Oh,
some
yes.
inherent damp?
Yes.
So that's sortable.
Well, yeah, one of the things that he did say on that as well is a lot of the brickwork outside, I mean, John, the builder, has said this to us, a lot of the brickwork is blown and it does need pointing, and pointing would help.
But we don't have any, this is just brick on concrete or something, is it? We've got
Yeah,
no
Yeah,
foundation.
there's no foundations.
No.
No,
It's on ground.
it's on the ground. If you lift this floor up, which we were able to do when Anton came, through the little corner bit, cut out with there,
On the stage.
you look down and it's soil, it's earth.
Right.
And there were all the boroughs there, because that's another thing coming up.
But can it still work with that then? It's not
Yeah.
unsurmountable?
No, it's not
Okay.
insurmountable.
Okay.
So we're sort of having the meeting that we're going
Yeah.
to, working group for. So we've got you, Peter, and
I'm happy to
Ray.
do
Oh, it's just Chris Tarrant, because he's
Oh, he's the
investigated
historian.
the history of this place, isn't it? And actually gave the Wednesday
He did.
offering to talk
That's,
about it. So
that's what got a lot of us going on,
yeah,
actually.
he can give some background. I mean, if he's willing to, I'm suggesting approaching him.
Okay, so maybe we can put a little,
Okay.
a little call to arms. Maybe
Call to arms.
particularly press about this little project team. And
Yeah.
if you want to talk to Chris,
Yeah.
and see if he's willing
And
to
we
have
can all
that.
get together and,
Yeah, that's good, Alison.
great.
Okay. What grants have you got, Lorraine?
Well, a couple actually, but one might take a couple of years. So I'll just give an overview at the moment
Yeah.
on what's happening in here. So we've got the pizza people starting on Friday. So they're doing 5 until 10 every Friday, up and including the 29th of December. So at the moment they're booked until the end of the year. If it goes well, I will temporarily keep that spot for them until we know at the end of December whether they think it's been a success and we'll carry on with it, which will be great. If people like it and it works, it will be great. The puppet company have booked with us again, and they've already done a few odd days last month and actually today, but they'll be with us for a full 2 weeks starting Tuesday the 21st of November, and that goes up to the 1st of December. We're also in talks with them to do a production for us early in the new year. I was talking to Jane today, and they really want to do one for us, but we can't accommodate when they can do it this year because we've got bookings. So we're looking in the new year now. Carol Dooley, a Northwich artist, is starting with us on the 6th of December, and she's doing, it's a Wednesday, but she won't clash with the warm welcome because it's 1:30 to 4. So they'll come in after, and actually it'll work well with the warm welcome because you can just leave all your stuff out.
Thank you.
So I was thinking that.
Thank you.
So initially she's booked the 6th, 13th and 20th of December. See how it goes. It's £15 a session, but it includes everything. It includes your paint, your paper, refreshments. So which is not bad for a 2.5 slot, hour slot.
And are we going to advertise that? Or?
We're been advertising.
Okay.
I've already got bookings.
Oh, cool. I wish I'd like that.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and you take your efforts home at the end of the day.
And I'm presuming she's fetching her own people anyway here,
I'm
isn't she?
taking my efforts in.
Well, she'll only come with one person. You don't need.
No, I don't mean that. There might be people who she knows. who
Oh,
will
I
come
don't
here.
know about that, to be honest. So anyway, that's that one. Then I've been in an effort to bring more inclusive activities to the village hall. I mean, I don't know how many or if we have many disabled people in the village. I don't know that. But the activities, some of the activities we're looking at are quite inclusive. And so I'm in talks with Rosie Harris, a local resident, in respect of a physical activity grant for the village hall. So if it's successful, it could be worth up to £10,000. And we've had a lot of talks with Rosie over this, and this is not something that's going to be in the future. It could be imminent, so it could be up and running by maybe February. And so in a nutshell, the activities we're looking at are indoor curling, believe it or not, boccia, which was originally set up for disabled people, but you both both abilities can play it. Table tennis,
Which we've already got.
yeah, but we'd need another because you're playing as teams. Yoga, possibly dance. But the grant, if it's successful, it would cover all the equipment. There'll be no financial output from us. So it would cover all the equipment, and it would also pay a coach or coaches while it all gets set up. So I was sort of looking at an activity Saturday morning. So, so where it would be different each Saturday. So, one Saturday you might have curling, one Saturday you might have boccia. I was thinking not the yoga for Saturday mornings, I was thinking yoga more an evening or midday to fill up the midday ones, but more for the activities like maybe dance on a Saturday morning.
I've got contact for you, another one.
Yeah, great. So, it will take some time to put together, but it won't be months and months. So hopefully we'll have something in place by February. Then there's another one that's a possibility, it will take a long time, and that's where we're looking at the Turton. And that could be up to £50,000. But that will take a few years, I think. And in the meantime, I would be looking at maybe getting a working group together in the Turton to clear it out, as in clean it out, paint the walls, just freshen it, make it a bright place. And I was looking at possibly, it was something Jane mentioned and she's quite right. So you go around Holmes Chapel, Winsham, but a lot of people, there's poppies all over, people have done displays, haven't they? They're beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at maybe a knit and natter in there. You could put, people are always giving away armchairs and what have you. And for the time being, we could make it into a lovely space for people to come down and say we don't meet twice a week. I'd be happy to definitely do it Monday, maybe afternoon, a couple of afternoons or something. Nothing, but it wouldn't be a paid thing. They would come and pay. They would come and pay for teas and coffees. Because you could do a book club, you could do anything like that, but you're using the space.
I think it's got an idea.
But to do something for the village, because I can teach people to knit. I'm not a great crocheter, but I can probably teach myself
Well, we
to.
have Denise as well, that comes to Warm Welcome.
Well, there you go. And so, teaching each other to do these skills and then putting them up around the village. Because if you go and you see all the crocheted poppies, don't you, stuck on things. I know it sounds a bit mild, but I think it'd be quite a nice thing.
It's involvement, These are the sorts of things that Mike was saying, that if you're able to go to some of these grant-aided people and say that these are the plans you've got in the pipeline and these are the restrictions, there's no heating or it's damp or anything like that, but these are the efforts that you're trying to do, stands you in such brilliant footing. I think that's marvellous, Lorraine. I think that's wonderful, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
No, that's good. I mentioned that it was good to see a nice income on the village hall.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Keep seeing all the negatives. I'd like to see a positive.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is to resolve to undertake increased pest control.
Oh, yes.
Alison.
This is me Ridipest man. Smashing fellow. As I say, when he first came, I found out who he was and I wanted to meet him and speak to him because he could smell. Various people kept saying that the smell in the hall was damp. It was because it was damp, it was because it was damp. My experience of being in horses and in stables and things like that is, it's the mouse weed that stinks. And then when we did a little bit of a clear out on the stage a few weeks ago, it was evident, because I put on that report, that there was rodent activity. And then when we found a rather large dead rodent, I thought, oops. So it was great when Anton came and I met him. He said he'd been here before, but he'd just gone round and done the boxes because he'd never been able to, one, get into the floor space, get into the roof space, or into the stage. So we discovered the little trapdoor in the corner of the stage, or Peter had, so he was able to go down in there and have a look. And it was when he lifted the boards up here and we looked below, as I say, that you could see just earth, but you could see all these burrows. And he said, that's your problem. And then in the ceiling above us.
The burrows, were they just mice? Burrows?
She said a big rodent.
Was it a big mouse?
A big rat.
Could be, they get everywhere. Don't worry about it.
It was a big rat.
Yeah.
It was outside.
It was upset. But Anton himself was quite put out about that, and he said, you have got a major, big problem here. So he went round, and what he had been doing previously is coming back as and when. He said, whenever I'm passing here, he said, I'll put bait down. He said, and then a couple of weeks later, I'll come back and have a look. And he's been doing that on sort of like an ad hoc basis, which I thought was very good of him. And he's been back again, but what he did propose was that we actually need to increase our management. And he's recommended, did I send this to you?
It's in
quote.
the agenda,
Yeah,
and the
the
costs, yeah.
And I wanted to make the proposal that, yeah, we go with his quote of, first of all, the 300 and something to secure the air vents outside. Because he could see then as well, because he said he couldn't get round the back of the building previously to
Do
look
we
at
not
it.
have to get 2 quotes over so that sort of money?
It's 300 something, that is.
It's 500,
No, that's the total cost per annum will be 500. But the one-off, this sealing these bricks around the back here and doing, to complete the work as detailed above will be £380. That's the proofing and on the ingress and egress of the little.
You just said, did you say the air bricks?
Yeah.
Well, is it that?
No, there is something that he uses.
You put
that
fine
will-
mesh over it.
It's very fine mesh.
Oh, okay.
He secures them, so he
Right.
said that will stop them.
Yeah, it still goes in and out.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But it doesn't,
but
yeah.
Yeah, so
Because
I
one of
was
the
thinking
things
we're
that-
trying to cure the damp at
Yeah.
the same time.
yeah,
Yes,
but
okay,
a very
I understand.
small hole like that, a mouse can get in.
Yeah.
One of the things that did perturb me a little bit was that Lorraine's got kids' parties going on in here and using the kitchen. And there were mouse droppings in the kitchen, and he said, yeah, there are mice all through.
Is it not the fact that the more we use it, the less inclination they've got to come in, or is that a
No,
Providing them with food.
you're providing them with food.
Yeah.
So the proposal is your current budget for pest control in the village hall is £330 a year. So if you increased it to 8 visits, it would increase to 500
Yeah.
a year, so an additional 170 a year. And then a one-off
Of 380.
proofing of 380 to put the mesh on the
Yeah.
on the bricks, on the air bricks.
I think for me, the one thing that is missing is the rodent or the pest report.
I've sent that, I've sent that.
We have got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen it. No.
yeah, you have
I must
got
have
it.
missed
It
that
was
one.
on the it's in the shared drive.
Did I take that back?
So
So,
it might have been last month, to be honest. I'll double check
No.
because it came up last month as well, didn't it? But it's on the shared drive, the report, yeah.
so can we propose that we go with the 500, the increased 500? Which would be the 4 routine visits per annum, 4 free call-outs, and it's covering for rats, mice, garden ants, case-bearing clothes, moths and wasps.
I'll second it. If you-
Thank you, yeah, I'd like to propose it.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Yeah, increased to 8 visits.
Mm.
Is that also the initial payment as well? Probably?
No.
Or is it proposing that separately?
I was just going to propose that separately, the
I'll second that.
380.
I'll second that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I go back to Anton and tell him? Or do you want to?
I'll email it.
Thank you.
Yes, I've got his invoice, so I can email it. Yeah, no problem.
We'll get the little varmints.
Okay. So, Overdrive playground inspection.
Yes, carried on doing those and on with
I think this is the annual one, is it?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you actually last month allocated £250 to find someone to do the annual inspections, but we found someone for £78, which is the ROSPA, which I think most parish councils use. And the reduced cost is because they do it at a specific time. So they don't do it with anybody, and I think Cheshire's March, April.
Okay.
So they turn up unannounced and give you a report, tell you. So
Excellent.
No proposal to go with that?
That's been a
Bargain.
no-brainer, isn't it?
Aha, so the repairs and replacement of benches flats. Councillor Peter shows them.
Yes, right. My benches. In response to the October PPC meeting, I was asked to get a quote for the removal of and the making good, which I got, which I frantically flipped through paper because I can't find it. And I think it's £255.
it's 225.
225 to remove completely and make good the area.
Okay.
The next one would be the repair of the Knutsford side, which was 270 as previously quoted.
Okay.
We've had a member of the a resident come forward with an idea, and I believe he's submitted some drawings on actually repairing the existing concrete. I haven't replied to him. I was hoping that he was going to be here tonight because he did say that he was going to try and come, but I will speak to him. That I don't really think that we can go down that at all, because the number one thing for me is that it's a public liability, isn't it, for us?
Is he a builder?
I don't know what he is. He was suggesting actually that we shutter up this piece of concrete, fill it with concrete, and sort of make a mould or patch it up. Well, the only thing is that you can't mix two concretes together. And the thing with that bench on that side, on the Northwich side, is the metal structure in it is rusty. So that's indicating that because it is rusty, if you encase it, it's just going to crack the concrete elsewhere. And if you actually look at the whole concrete structure, it's all cracking all the way up. So it isn't. Yeah, both sides are cracking. Both Knutsford and Northwich side.
Something like they're ugly,
Mm.
which I know is
Well,
my weak point.
it was suggested last time by Alison that maybe that the community group could pay for them. Did you go back and ask
Well,
them?
we haven't had any actual full figures yet, so once we've got that,
No,
we'll
we-
back to them.
Yeah,
So what that, there's no point going and saying, would you like, and unless again, we've got actually some figures to go
So have we
by.
got figures, Alison?
well, this was where I wanted to know. We didn't have a vote last time.
Can I just ask one thing though?
I think we wanted to see how much we had to repair though first, didn't we?
We never said that.
Yeah,
That's what we gave you last
So
time.
we asked for the to remove.
One thing we've been looking at is that obviously we've been looking at a chair style bench, haven't we, with a back.
Yep.
What about the just the flat benches? I mean, is that a consideration to have? That just.
Well,
I mean, it's just a
Yeah,
question.
where-
Because, I mean, is it worth looking at that as well, or do we want to stay with the chair style, whatever they are?
What-
The people that are most likely to want to use it, chair style, would be
Need a
the,
chair,
Yeah.
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 Agree.
Yeah.
would be the appropriate thing.
Yeah.
Just
I think
just a thought.
What I wanted to find out was, do we want to replace, or do we want to scrap and not have any? Because that was an option.
No, we need to replace, surely.
I'd
We've got an
replace or
elderly, we've got an
repair.
elderly population.
My
The
own-
elders catch the bus.
Yeah.
My own view, personal view, I know it shouldn't be, but my own personal view is, there are 5 buses. There are various groups of people who use the bus stop. There's the poor little old lady who for the past few weeks has gone into Northwich on a Thursday and she has to stand and wait now. And I feel very sorry for her.
Yeah.
I just feel like going and taking her a camping chair.
Yeah.
Or give her a lift to Northwich.
Yeah, exactly. Could do. There are kids who wait for the school bus. There are people,
I don't
young,
think kids are bothered about
No.
sitting down.
I don't know. There are kids, people younger than us, people of our age and people older than us. People will use the bus, they'll go into Knutsford for an afternoon. Other people are going to Northwich to do the shopping. I know I've gone round and spoken to various people, and they have said that, yeah, they do use the buses, they do use the bus stop, yes, they would like a seat. The next thing then was, if we do have a seat, people have also said, we'd like a covered one over on the Knutsford side. Well,
Going
that's,
down a whole
I have
different-
now actually gone and got several quotes, because there are loads of companies out there. If you wanted a cover with a built-in seat in it, it's £2,759 fitted, sighted.
Is that
So-
something that we could do though? Would we be able to? Because you've got to consider
No.
how close it is to the road, and
Yeah.
Cheshire
Yeah.
East Highways may.
And they own the ground.
They own the
Yeah.
ground.
So I don't think it's a feasible.
No, it was a
Yeah,
suggestion that was
suggestion,
put
yeah,
forward.
that's just
But
I
I
think
thought,
it's
yeah,
on
we
the
do need
list
to
that
look at.
Cheshire
So, do we,
he's put out.
if we go to repair the one that we've
I
got
think you could
on
repair.
that side,
I think you could repair
You
the
still-
one that's repairable.
you still, the end of the life of the concrete, it's had it. It's not going to last much longer, because it's already cracking, because there's rust inside the steel frame. So whatever repair you do, it's only going to be a
Well,
short
I
term
don't know,
on that one.
surely the person who's come to give you the quote would tell you whether it was fit for purpose or not.
Yes, it's knackered.
But in theory, wouldn't it be nice just to get rid of them both and get two
Yeah.
similar ones?
But
which
This
look-
one here on
look
this side
okay?
Okay,
is
but I think-
marginally better. That, we had a quote for 270. to repair that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And for buying
But
two, we
on
might
this
get a bit more
side,
discount.
it's beyond repair.
Once it's rained on.
Yeah.
So I think-
Days, aren't
I think if we can repair, we should repair.
Mm.
That's the environmental thing to do, environmental friendly thing to do. And also, if you look at our forecast for next year, we're going to enter the year with half the backup amount of money that we had the year before.
Yeah.
So everything we're adding on extra road and care.
Mm.
Now we want to buy 2 benches. They're beyond our means unless we want to raise a lot of money from the residents.
My only point was that we have got money, we have got SIL payment money. And SIL payment by its term is for community infrastructure.
I don't think you've got any still payment money left. I think that had been allocated somewhere. The set of accounts I've seen didn't show any still payment money. I don't think.
So that's
I
all
will
been
double
allocated.
check for
Right.
it, but I think it's been allocated. Do you want to propose then that we get the repair done on the Knutsford one? Do you want to propose that and
Yeah. If that's what's, yeah, if it really,
I think we should repair if we can,
okay.
and it may put it off for 5 years or so. But it's still
Yeah.
worth doing.
But what about the Northwich side?
Well, one bench on one side is okay, isn't it?
Where does the little
No.
old lady stand?
This side. She goes to Northwich.
Can't we do this
It's irreparable.
in it?
Okay, so can I just check that you're all happy to have the Knutsford
Yeah.
side one done at £270?
Yeah.
'Cause-
No, I prefer a new one.
okay.
I personally would like
I'm
to have
happy
2
to
put in
repair.
place.
So what's
So
the
we
cost
Alright,
of the new
so
one?
we've taken
Could we investigate the cost of both
of what?
options?
We have.
Come back with the cost for both options.
Okay, so you've got remove repair, you haven't got an actual,
The
so you've got an option for 2 new benches installed.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend 280 quid or 600 quid?
That'd be 1,200.
When you, the
And
quotes,
plus the base.
the quotes that had got previously for some of these benches, the recycled plastic ones, were starting at 450 per bench. Then you'd have a fitting cost, because some companies don't fit them. But that basically is the basic price for a plastic one. If you go for a wooden one, you're looking at 750. If you go for a galvanised steel, you're looking at up to £1,000. So for me, the recycled plastic one that are
Fitting of them
UV
must be
tested,
about 500 at least,
Yeah.
Alison, at least.
there are companies who do fit them, that do come fitted, and I was waiting for one company to come back to me today, but they haven't done yet.
But you're looking then at least £1,200.
For 2.
No, well, you're looking at least £900, £1,000 for one. Because if you base it...
No, I do disagree, not on some of the quotes that I've been looking
But then
at.
we haven't got the fitting quote, which is what you need.
Could we come back with a full quote?
This will be the third time.
Well, we haven't,
Yeah,
we haven't
because
got
I-
an amount of money there. We haven't got an exact amount of money that we can look at. With. I mean,
Well,
Alison's got all sorts
okay.
of funding there, and I think she's
I mean,
doing
let's
a
take
good
it.
job
Let's
with
take it
this.
one at a time. The one that can be repaired, I would propose we have a vote on whether we repair that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, okay,
So those people that would like to repair the one that can be repaired. Those who would not like to repair the one that can't be repaired. Okay, so we repair the one that can be repaired.
Okay.
On the other one,
We need a quote on the base.
we need to know what the real cost is.
Okay.
Alison, do we, this is off the wall question I've not thought about before, which was, so are they all standard, these benches? Are they 6 foot long?
No,
Why do we need
They're
seats
not.
for that many?
they're not.
When there's
That's the
one
whole
lady.
point. That's why I didn't go and get quotes. Because I'm was getting inundated with all the various permutations
So
of
does
what
it
you
therefore
could have.
follow that a smaller bench would cost less?
Smaller bench would cost less.
A two-seater?
A two-seater bench would be quite adequate.
No?
They're going to
They start off at 1,500, whatever, millimetres, is it? Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
we can't make a decision because we don't have the information.
Okay, so what would you like? A recycled two-seater bench?
Well, shouldn't we just replace like for like in terms of size?
What size is
What
the one
size
you've
are
got?
they?
I don't know. They're not 2 seaters. Are they about?
They're at least
Still about three.
Yeah, at least three.
Okay, so a
Yeah,
quote
two-
for
two and a
a
half
three-seater recycled plastic,
Certainly recycled of some sort. Yeah.
recycled something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like for like in terms of size.
With the back is £650.
Okay,
That's the base.
Plus that.
500.
you
Well,
don't
we don't
pay
pay
that.
Don't know about that.
But you're right, the installation is expensive.
The installation.
They don't install.
The installation will be more than what the bench is.
They only supply.
Right.
I can get an installation for that particular quote, or I can go back to this other company who have said that,
Well, I think we need.
So we'll
Both
defer
of
it to
them.
the next meeting
you know, for a new one.
and for a new one. So at the moment, we're going to repair the one that's Knutsford bound and then get a quote for one Northwich bound. And get that for next meeting.
But I think as this will be the third time it's come to council, we need, before it goes on the agenda, we need the information. I don't want to have the same.
Yeah, well,
discussion.
I'd say the reason I didn't do it was because there would be reams and reams of information on every single permutation that there was.
Well, it's just fitting. It's just the fitting cost we need.
Okay.
No, it's not. You want the bench as well.
Okay.
But we don't
And
have to
size of bench.
like for like, is what we agreed.
So the same size.
Okay. Keys for the parish council. I know we discussed this last night, so I'm distributing the keys.
I'm going to have to get home. I've got them in my car, so I'm going to have to go home and come back at the end of this.
Okay.
Literally, I finished.
That's all right. I can wait.
Do
That's
you want to go
fine.
to the red line? No? Okay, so if we've got all the keys, then
Yeah, so I've got a box full of keys and a lot of them don't fit where they're supposed to fit. So I'm just going to suggest that I do an audit, make sure that we have keys for everything, and if there are any assets that the parish councils that we can't access.
I was just going to say about the WD-40 stuff.
Not working.
No, so can we put them on?
Yeah?
we've done
Can.
WE40.
Pardon?
We've done WE40.
I had to go with it, but I couldn't really think. I couldn't even get the key in.
I'll come and do it tomorrow.
Brilliant.
I could get a key in, but it wouldn't turn.
Okay.
Okay, but if you're happy to set a budget, I think that's excessive, by the way, the 250, but that's just what you allow your clerk to spend on the delegated budget. But if you allow that, then I will make sure that you have a key for everything and you can get in everywhere and that you have locks at
So
the back and
we're all right
everything.
with at the top of Clover where the chain,
Yeah, that's
because that's
okay.
in a really good padlock, and if we can get into it,
And if we can get the chain off the
it's the stub.
stuff, then we'll get a
The
waterproof one.
plants,
But
the
they all-
plants should have a key.
We've got a
They mow
key,
it.
we've got a key, but it's all rusted.
No, I know, but I mean, the plants actually mow that area, so
They do.
I would think that.
Is it
They
a
do,
vehicle or is
it
it
would
Yes,
go at
vehicle.
the side though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they do.
'Cause it's
It's
only a
about
sit
old
on.
copies,
come in,
It's only a
come in
sit
through the
on.
gap.
That's not been open for a long time
Yeah.
from the looks of things.
And there's a bolt through, do you remember on the gate? You
Yes.
couldn't even move that gate, because that
Yeah.
bolt.
I'll do it tomorrow. Sure.
You can get the boat as well.
If I have to.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, update on the Christmas extravaganza.
Yeah, all going well. We seem to be on track. Well, Naomi seems to be on track. I'm just running around behind. Yeah, all going well, really. I can't say any more. We've got lots of takers for the stalls at the top. We could do with a few more resident stalls outside houses, so we're going to be putting stuff out over the next few days. Because that was the idea, to just not just have it on the top. And we have organised how the parking for the stall holders that are non-residents will work. So we're going to have parking, two parking wardens, and we will tie in slots. So each, at the top of Clover, each stall has a numbered slot, and for as many as we can, those numbered slots will have an attachment to a parking down at the bottom, which will be ribboned off from very early on in the morning, and people will be parking. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they can still park here. They won't be coming in here. We're not using this now, but they can park here, and we will have somewhere pointing to it as a parking spot. And there will be some signs up, pointing to the grotto and to the toilets and refreshments.
Okay.
So they'll all be down at the turn.
No, anything you need from us?
Well, just the selection boxes, which I think Amanda's dealt with.
The one thing that I'm actually wondering, Lorraine, is the amount of water, the amount of rain that we've had. Are you intending people to drive on that bit of grass? Because I am concerned, really, that it's actually like a quagmire at the moment already.
I know it is, but I mean, I think some of them will have to reverse up with what's in.
I'm just conscious.
And it's all going to be staggered. It's not all at once. So it's all going to be staggered, so they'll all get a time to arrive.
So are cars parking on there?
No,
They're not.
no. What do you mean, parking where?
Yeah,
No, I'm not talking about on the iris, I'm talking about on the field at the top.
No.
They're not, they just have a stall and that's it. So
Yeah.
cars
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Taking the cars down to the end.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're not parking on the iris, they're just parking on the car park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this was to, now we have Wi-Fi to agree that we can start live streaming since technicalities. Anyone has any objection?
No, splendid.
It's fantastic.
So we'll go via the Facebook page.
Great.
Okay. Well, we're doing a test tonight. We'll see. Cool. So I think a lot of us attended the Peace and Crime Commissioners meeting, and at that he said he would set up a follow-on meeting to representatives of the councils and the police and interested parties. So Commissioner has chosen to use Pickmere Village Hall as the venue for the meetings. The first one I think is on December 6th. Unfortunately, I'm overseas, so it has kindly agreed to represent me at that meeting.
Is that an open meeting?
No,
No,
it's a
right.
private meeting.
Oh.
So it'll only be for the named individuals that we said. So as long as no one gets to Nick attending.
You think he's got it in the function?
Okay.
Well, we do need to arrange to make sure there are keys around for locking the passengers, or they have to come up and look and.
Yeah, I can give it might be if
Yeah, go on.
finish it because I won't be needing it because I won't be here. And then discussed a little bit earlier, but
So Nick is definitely available on that day.
he is.
And if he's not,
Yes.
So he is. There are reasons why he can't be available. But anyway, he will be available. I've got good authority from Nick himself. To be fair, so this is the first time he hasn't been able to wangle a Tuesday night. And we did know Tuesday nights were difficult for people. And then the next thing is just to look at a fee for charging for hire of the IROS and other green spaces. So my thought on that is, you know, obviously people going down to the IROS to have a picnic, we're not recharging them to go to have a picnic, but if people are making money out of an event.
But there's people running boot camps, aren't there?
Yeah, but I think that's the two things. Is one, if people are running an event, then the council should get something for their asset obligation.
My thoughts on that though, Ewan, was that I thought that the IROS was given to the residents of the village, so that we really shouldn't be having any outsiders doing any events on there.
In the past, that's been the opinion that it's not a place that can be hired out for public use.
I think the church building is one thing, but I think the actual hiring of the field is a completely.
But if we've got the like for instance the community group at Arden's Lane, and they aren't they've got no event, but there's no outcome of that event that directly gives them into the village, then we should be able to charge.
The only thing that I would say about that, as much as, you know, I don't like the fact that the community group are not transparent, they are Pickmere people, and at the end of the day, they're putting events on for the village, putting the events on for Pickmere people and Wigan people. So personally, my thoughts on that is that term pavilion is one thing to hire out, but hiring the field out to me, to non-residents, it's completely wrong. Completely wrong. I don't like that idea at all.
The first thought that I had when I was reading that is, what is then preventing a group or one individual coming and saying, yes, I want to hire it, yes, how much is it, £10, right, and then having a raid down there, or having parties, and just how do we control that?
We don't.
The thing is, in the past, we've had groups who've come along and asked if they can use or hire but not hire, but pay for use of the IROS, and they've been said, well, no, because it's for residents' use. And the groups that are come along and ask have all been perfectly reasonable, perfectly understanding of that situation, and said, fine, we'll find somewhere else. The groups that going down there, I mean, we have a board group that people belong to, like say with what's the one that Chris mentioned earlier. We've had various other, we've had a group who go down to breathe and listen to music. You may have a whacking great fire pit. These groups go down, charge people to come with them, and will go down come what may. And they won't ask us permission, they will just turn up and do their thing and then clear off. And it's how do you, for lack of a better way of putting it, police that and go down and say you should pay. I think if we have a blanket no to anyone outside of the village using it, then we have clarity in all situations, and that it stays for residents' use only.
I can see both sides here, if I can just have a quick minute. So I'm sort of playing devil's advocate, but and this is completely taking it away from that, but it sort of all falls in. So part of the whole thing down at the lake is what Jane and Chris are looking at, is to start to get less swimmers down there, shall we say, to start a swimming club. But then that's people from outside.
Well, what it is managing numbers, Lorraine. I don't think that you can say that my thoughts on the whole thing, paddleboards and swimmers, is actually if we can manage numbers, then and put clubs into place. The idea of it is that we can probably try and restrict numbers. That's my thoughts.
I totally get that, and I actually
yes, but that's just people going down to use the water. This using the field for me is a completely different thing altogether. That's just my thoughts on it.
Are we not overcomplicating this? The IROS field is likely to be wanted to be. But
yeah.
Let me finish. But then at the bottom next to the lake is where it annoys me that these groups and somebody will charge, and that it's only a dozen people. surely we can just put a sign saying this is chargeable for anybody, for any group, something appropriate,
Private land.
Private land.
because it is private land.
But that's true at the moment. So at the moment, we don't have a charge. We know people are running businesses on our private land.
Right.
When you do have a charge, then you have a recourse to charge.
But it's non-recreational at the moment, and it's just for our village. That's the thing. Once you start to make it into a charge, if you started to charge on that field, then it becomes, to me, it takes it back to commercial. Yeah. Venture.
But anything that's been run as a commercial venture is by definition commercial.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
charge money,
that
it's
was-
commercial.
That was the whole thing, surely, with the 106 agreement and from Cheshire East as well,
Yeah.
that the IROS should not be used for commercial purposes.
It's to be used by somebody, if somebody in our village came to us and said, look, I'd really like to hold a birthday party down there because I'd like the kids playing football and things like that. I think that's absolutely, yes, absolutely.
I'm not getting a chance to give them birth.
But they can just go along and use that anyway, so because they're the projects, aren't they?
Yeah, to have people coming into the village to use, which is, for lots of people, their place where they take the dogs for a walk or the kids play or anything like that, to have people from out of the village holding parties there or doing whatever they're doing there. I don't think it's right, personally.
I mean, the thing is, when they have had people down there, I've got said, look, you
We've got to
can't
make it
use
so
this
that it
for,
doesn't happen.
you can't use this for a charged event. It's not, you cannot ask permission of the parish council. And the basic reply from every single one of them is to go forth and multiply.
Well, it is, and this is because they don't think it's private land.
Mm.
We
agree.
need to go back down to that. It looks at the moment, to me, when I drive, every time I drive there, it looks like you're driving down to a country park. And the problem is that because when you type in Pickmere, the first thing that comes up is Pickmere Country Park and Leisure. Everybody thinks that they are coming to a country park and, well, you're not allowed, what is there is the footpath that runs that way and that way to keep walking. Well,
You look at the swimming.
Everybody
beach,
just looks at it like you've got three.
advertised this is one of the, I think this is one of the top 6 wild swimming lakes in
But we
Cheshire.
can,
That was,
Jane, don't forget, we talked about this
we have.
privately a lot about what to do, and we know what we have to do. Dissuade these people from coming down. So many of them have this sort of feeling of right to be able to come down and use it whenever they want.
It's
And to some degree they can.
Yeah, natural England.
But we're not,
And it's going worse.
we're not putting any controls in.
Okay,
we?
but I think for me, this would be your first control. Because if people come down and use run a business, and we know there are at least 3 businesses being run on our land,
Yes.
but we don't charge people to come onto our land.
Well, we just need to stop them.
Yes.
We just need to stop them.
And how's that work so far?
Let's be.
Well, I've not actually, I didn't catch the people who were doing the yoga. I have gone down to other people before and spoken to them about it, and they've just said, really sorry, we thought that it was a free field, we won't do it again. So I have actually discussed with some people. I think some people are completely unaware. This is the thing.
Yeah, you're right. Some people are unaware, and there are some reasonable, but there are other ones who, I mean, one of this breeding group who with the pit, they actually advertise it as one of their venues.
Breeding.
It's breeding. It's something like it's something like
It's
that probably goes on down there as well, Chris.
Yeah,
But
it's the wind on method.
It's something like monkey breathing or some, I can't remember the exact group, but I found it ages ago. But they advertise Pickmere as coming down. I mean, there are all sorts of options to stop people coming
We
down.
can put the plan
Go
together.
for offence.
For me, it's still the turn pavilion to people in our village. This is just my opinion. Is absolutely they can hire that room. I don't think that we should be going down the road doing anything on that land.
And we,
It's
can I suggest we just refine this, because I think there's forces against it, aren't there? With respect, yeah. Because I don't think the actual IROS field, can't see it, I don't think ever has been asked. People have parties on there, and it's it's not of no use to anybody, but down by the lake, it's a different matter. And that really messes me when I see people charging other people to do whatever they're.
It's Chris, there have been parties down there. I mean, my house backs onto it, there have been parties.
Really?
Yeah,
There
regularly.
are people up there that do yoga.
Yes, I was something, yeah. But we should
And
be
they're going down late at night, they're going down, you know, they're going down.
Midnight at one,
You know, this is,
well, you've given me an idea now for a new group.
These groups, that was the country there.
We have done in the past. We got the clerk to send a couple of messages, and they just reply, "Well, didn't know," and then they still come down again, and they take. You know, the thing is, who or what is going to stop them, and that's the negative side of it. I mean, I'm being very negative about this, but they if they want to use it, they come down and use it. The paddleboard lot actually. But I don't know whether they still do, but they were charging people to come down and they were training them. You know, the thing is, if people want to, they can come down and
It's the sound that we can
back up the hill.
people used to use their own barbecues before, we've got signs up and spoke to them.
and if they do less and less that,
We have really
really.
taken hold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just have to keep going, but
okay, but I think if we were to charge, and anyone wants to hire the village has to get permission from the council and apply for our rules, and we have to agree, then we're in a much stronger position when people use it for commercial activity.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Because the first thing I would do is send them a bill and tell them not to do it again. And if they didn't pay the bill, I would hand it on to a debt collector who will do it for the fee. That's my personal.
The only problem I have with that is for residents' use. So if residents are using it, they shouldn't be charged because it's actually.
But residents are running a business off our land.
No, if you're running a business, I'm talking about.
Well, no, I'm talking about charging residents.
I mean, for instance, for a fund day or something like that, I don't think we should charge for it if it's a residents group that's doing it, because that land is for residents' use.
I've just gone down tonight at 4 o'clock and there was residents using it there. The rugby had been what's it, and there was about 8 vehicles there and they were all playing rugby. And I just said, you know, what's he up to? And one of them said, we live in the village, and I naturally know who it is. And I just said, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, keep going. But there was lots of people possibly who weren't residents as well, you know, but I think they've just gone there to do a bit of rugby practice.
Okay, but they're not charging them to go and play rugby, then.
I don't think they normally charge. I think they just,
So they're not affected by it.
no.
So they have a picnic, you're not affected by it. They want to run a picnic and charge them.
I think the problem with a lot of these groups that Simon's just said that he has found them online, a lot of them now are on WhatsApp groups, so they're not even, you can't see, you know, it's unless you're on that WhatsApp group where they're arranging some meets and all the rest of it. I think that there's a lot of that going on to organise things down there, so you can't see it.
It's not said in the news.
It's fine. But I don't think that we should charge residents to use the field.
And there's no intention to charge.
Well, if they're using the term pavilion and wanted to use it for a party, yes, I don't think there's any.
If they use it for a party, the same as we do this. We charge for the building, wouldn't we, for the hourly rate? That's fine. Because there's the maintenance, there's the cleaning and everything, that's fine, but I don't think using the field.
But no one's suggesting that we're going to charge residents.
No, it seemed like that from what you said, sorry, my mistake.
Anyone wants to use the field to rent it to run a business, they can do it.
If they're running a business, fair enough.
If they don't rent it from us, then we'll take action against it.
Could I ask a question? I'm sorry, I know I'm not part of the discussion. If you rent it, does that mean it's closed to everybody else?
No.
If I rented Village Hall, I wouldn't expect to share with everybody else.
The pavilion, if you rent the pavilion, yes.
No, if you rented if I rented the IROS,
You can't,
Sorry.
you can't rent the island.
That's what the suggestion is.
Yeah.
So
The pavilion at the Iris, we sort of.
No, I'm asking if I rented the islands,
Pavilion or the field.
just field,
So, first of all, it's open.
I would expect to have.
No, you're right.
Yeah, you would expect to, but you couldn't.
Open recreational space for residents.
Yeah.
Well, in the terms and conditions, it can say that the IROS is open to the public between dawn and dusk, and then you don't have.
But we also have the public footpath which runs through it, so you can't stop.
Not through the islands, not through the field.
No, but it goes down to that, what I'm saying, the only way you could actually prevent people from walking up the
I
field
found something on
is
it.
by fencing it off.
But at the moment, these businesses are running the business, and they can't help people, and that's.
The businesses that I've seen run are actually on the front of Jacob's Way.
Yeah.
So because of people that are doing this breathing method and then generally getting in the water. That's where it's all happening. It's happening down at the bottom or on the bank where it's collapsing. That's where it's happening.
There's been well there, obviously, isn't it? They're doing it for commercial benefit, then they need to pay.
The problem with it, actually, when they're doing commercial bonds, so they're coming now, there's a group of them, that big group that's on the bottom, there's got to be 15 of them.
Yes.
So they're all parking, the whole parking problem again, because they're taking over, they're parking the 50 slots that they've got. So maybe we just want to do it.
Okay, so are we any evidence?
Well, you seem to have your head around it.
Why,
Yeah, so why can't that maybe, would you be willing to bring a report to next meeting about this, your suggested charges and how we deal with it?
Well, I'll give the charges.
No, but I mean, a full report of how you suggest we charge it, how we deal with it, what we do if we chase up. Things like, are we then going to take the sign down that says no bathing because we allow people to come up there? You know, all of those things. I think it is, there's quite a wide ranging.
We're talking about powering the land, we're not about powering water.
Well, are we harming the water with them being able to get into it? Are harming the land with them being able to get access to it?
You're almost giving them, you're almost giving them the, if they come down and hire the land to start doing a breathing thing and then go in the water, you're almost giving them carte blanche to say, yes, you can go into the water.
I think it's probably the misconception, the assumption you're making is that we as council give them permission.
At the
I
moment,
think
no one has permission.
Yeah. And we have no mechanism of changing that. If you go to a shop and you take a chocolate bar with your cap,
There's no point in really, there's no, is there any point in studying what discuss charging for?
depends if you want to stop people running businesses on your land. At the moment, you have no way of stopping it.
No.
If you charge for the use of your
The
land,
difference,
So that's
all
all
the
there
difference
you have.
is that some of us don't want to charge for the IROS, but want to charge for the
The pavilion.
or
The pavilion. No, I think my sort of thing would be, yes, let's charge for the pavilion for residents in the village, but, and if, most of the residents would only be having a party there of some description, but personally, I don't think it should be for outsiders at all. I think that once you're taking that boundary down, then you're making it a free for all.
The other problem you've got with renting the pavilion is there was a.
14 people are allowed.
Yeah, but it's more to the point that a while ago, there was a suggestion brought forward and a lot of people around the Jacob's Way, Mere Lane, other orchards, got up in arms. I think that what they had want is someone there at 10, 11 o'clock at night. They don't want the parking spaces used. They don't want excess numbers parking up again because we're adding to the parking. And that was brought to us by quite a few residents when there was a thought process of what to do with the IROS in that way. So that is something to consider, whether the people who live around that area would be happy, and I think we would have to include them in the discussion if we went down the route of using the IROS. I mean, during the day, I don't see a problem. But
But I get it.
It's, I'm just bringing that up as something I remember.
We're missing the point. But at the moment, anyone can do anything they like.
No, I was talking about the pavilion.
Well, I did.
I wasn't
I
talking
get that.
about
Because
the
that
pavilion.
was moving to.
I think we've got to
We still just send a letter out to people who come down here and just say, you know, you're not allowed to be on this land. Full stop.
Okay, well, my example would be that the scouts used it this year. They were told that they couldn't. It's still okay, but they still use it.
Have that been something that had been agreed as a prior
Nope,
with the old parish council?
nope.
You didn't know anything about that? Right, okay, so that was just Louise.
But it's an example of what the response you'll get.
But again, it's open recreational space that you can use it.
Well, it was given
No,
as recreational space for the
The
village.
agreement doesn't allow people to run businesses on
Yeah.
that land. It allows access
I don't know
to
whether this
pedestrians
counts as a business.
from dawn to dusk.
Yeah, I know, but that, I'm not saying that, but
But individuals, it doesn't allow groups. I mean, technically, but it said it doesn't allow business. But at the moment, the only mechanism I can see is to put a charge in place. And then force it. You know, it's back to the example I was trying to give. That, you know, if you walk into a shop and steal a bar of chocolate, that's stealing. If you, there's a charge for something and you don't pay the charge, go to train them.
How are you going to even find out who these groups are then?
Cool. One, they advertise.
Well,
Two, they turn up.
I've not seen anybody advertise. Obviously, you've seen the scouts advertising. You knew that. I knew that group were down there, but I didn't know who. I knew they were down there because I was sent a video. But actually going down there and actually saying to them, "Can I have your name? Because I'm going to send you a bill." You know, they're just going to turn around and tell you where to go, aren't they?
Jane, do you agree we should be doing something about the groups down on the Jacobs Way? Yeah. So we should be charging those people
I
down.
don't think they should be allowed to come.
That's a more difficult one.
Well, I don't think that you can just say.
As soon as you start charging, you probably wouldn't anyway. That
Well, no, I think.
certain percentage.
But you still have to, the council still has to agree to allow them to hire.
I just think
this, with at this moment, I don't think we've got any clear idea of what people want and what. I think it's worth just bringing back to next council with a bit more clarity and a bit more, with a full report, not just about rates, but about everything, suggestions for how it could be used or how it could be stopped using it. So we've got a full report to have a look at.
May I suggest that the Make Group puts together a proposal based on your proposal? Should give it, put some meat on it.
Yeah, that's it, because then we've got something to actually work from.
So we could have some notices down.
Oh, that's a start.
Add them to all the other notices that
I
people.
know, yeah.
All right, line 11. I should need to add the number. So going back to the growth of fund of Jacobs Way and the hedge on Mere Lane, councillor.
Right, can I just show, I think I've sent it to Chris, the rain has seen it. I've showed it to you tonight, but this is what, Simon. This is again what, and I'm happy for you to be involved in this, if you want to be. Putting up the hedge. And I'm not going full wildflowering yet, I'm going to go back to that, because with you saying about the habitat, if you didn't want to change that habitat, I'm talking about just doing what, managing the land.
This is what we did last time, which was
It is.
managed properly, yeah.
So this is what,
I remember all this, I've got all this. Yes,
so you didn't, yeah, so
thanks. Well, I think I took a lot of these.
you did,
But
you took all of them.
yeah. Got them on frame somewhere.
So is there a point, Jane?
Yes, I'm just making some, this is what I'm trying to do is, this is what we'd like to go for, is managing the land, like it had been done.
Well, that's where that management plan was there for,
That's right, you had an asset group in for it.
yeah,
But
that
this is-
plan that I presented last time.
Thank you, yeah. So that's what I'm proposing. It's managed as it was. I'm not going for wilding, not going for anything other than what
Okay.
happened.
Just look at the agenda. The agenda item is for cutting back growth on the front of Jacob's Way and the hedge on BLA. That's all we can discuss.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's not the thing for Jacob's Way.
It is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Simon took the pictures, it was all on the Parish Council website, that's all I'm asking to happen, the same as last time. We've had a quote for £145 plus VAT to do it,
Both areas.
both areas.
Well, I mean, Alan just comes down and flails it. The only problem we've got at this stage is that it's to come in and flail it with the tractor.
No, it's actually for chopping it, mulching it up as well.
Yeah, I mean, he came in with one of those big flares, which pretty much did that job. But he struggled at the far end because of the build-up of water and the marshiness of it, and
Well,
that
he can do what he can do.
yeah, no. What I'm saying is, I don't think at this present moment in time he would be able to get far onto the field
Well, he-
because of the state of the ground.
he did
So
look at me the other day.
he'll come and have a look at it and make that
And
decision
said to me, "This, if you're going to be doing this, Jane, we need to be doing it
soon.
soon, because obviously it's this time of year that we need to manage."
Well, that's roughly when it was done last time.
Well, it was the 7th of November
Yeah.
last year.
It needs to be done. 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And the plan was to do it again at this stage, same time.
Yeah.
Some of the trees are, some, so a couple were cut down which shouldn't be.
That one's.
Yeah, they cut down a couple of the
Yeah.
non-willows and they shouldn't have done. That was the real sort of problem with the road went down, but they didn't actually
So look,
think about it.
I'm still not sure what the front of Jacob's Way doesn't mean.
Basically to carry out exactly what happened last time.
So down to the water, so not in the front of Jacob's Way. In front of Jacob's Way, maybe. Well, I thought 3 council meetings ago, we agreed that there was going to be a plan put together for all this.
Well, that was the wilding, but because Simon said last time.
No,
to me
well,
that,
before that, before the residents applied to submit the claims.
I thought that because last time Simon had said that he didn't agree to the wilding, that it was changing the biodiversity, I've pulled away from pulled away from that and gone back to what has been done previously.
I think we've got a plan in place that works. You need to
And I'm
maintain
going to be happy for Simon to be part of it and come down with that, with the late group, and make sure that it's only done to how it's been done previously.
because that works and then it's right for the habitat because it maintains that habitat. It's done at the right time of
I'd be
year.
happy for Peter to come down.
Yeah.
Trouble is in doing that, you're making more room for what you were describing.
Well, no,
No, but it allows the reeds to grow
It
back,
does.
yeah, which is what.
it's managing it,
Yeah,
Peter.
it's what it does, is it allows the reeds to grow back, but prevents the willow from taking over. It's the willow taking over that is the problem. Because as soon as the willow takes over, the reeds will go and we'll have a lot more dense bushes there, whereas eventually we wouldn't be able to cut it down properly.
Trouble is it's flooded now, though, isn't it?
But we could,
It's very.
but we could still do it early enough on if we can get some resolution passed now.
I mean, to be honest with you, we've got a month and a half at least in which, you know, it can be done right in November, December time without any problem. We just have to start thinking January time, you're getting too far into the regrowth period. I mean, I know it doesn't look like it, but if it needs to really be done in November, if we get a dry week or so, then that will give the opportunity for it to be done. It's
So can I just check that we have agreement on both sides here?
We do, I think Simon's agreeing with me.
Okay.
one off, never again.
So near to Christmas then. Must be-
Yeah, that's my Christmas.
Right.
I'm agreed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
as we have agreement on both sides, I'm inclined to
Agreed with
support
that.
the proposal. Anyone objecting to the proposal?
don't even think about it, Peter.
Does
Okay.
everybody agree?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
No, exactly.
Can we let me have the draft?
Yes.
Hang on. Right, so I think that we don't have anything,
Yeah, but we don't have anything.
right? So that's the end of the meeting.